So what we're adding to today, guys, is our negative exponent rules. Okay? Negative exponents can be written using positive exponents. Okay? Using the negative exponent rule. So what that is, guys, is if you have a value, a variable, okay, or even a coefficient that has a negative exponent, the exponent rule, guys, is to rewrite that as a fraction. Okay? So what that's going to be is you'll have 1 over, that would end up being x to the positive a. Okay? We're going to go over that. Okay? That is what the negative exponent rule is. I'm going to talk to you about why negative exponents are written as fractions. But before we do that, I want to look at the first 3 examples. Okay? All right, so looking at number 1, we have x to the negative 5th. Like we said, anytime we have a negative exponent, we're going to rewrite that 1 over x to the what? 5th. All right. Number 2, it is pretty simple right now. Okay, when we're just dealing with the basic, the coefficients, the variables. Okay. All right, looking at number 2, though, what is the only thing raised to the negative exponent? M. Just the m. Okay. So when we go to write this, yes, we're going to write it as a fraction, but 3 is going to stay on the top. And that the only thing being moved to the bottom or written as the fraction is going to be m raised to the power of 2. Okay. All right. Looking at number 3, negative 7a to the negative 4th, b to the 3rd. What's the only thing being raised to the negative exponent? Just the a. Okay? So on the top part of my fraction, it's going to be negative 7b to the 3rd over a to the 4th. All right, so looking here at number 4, guys, we have w to the 7th times w to the 9th. What rule do we have right here that we're looking at? What rule is it giving us? Product rule, because we're showing multiplication. So if we were to simplify this, originally it would be w, you have 7 plus that negative 9. What would that exponent be? To the negative 2. Okay, but because we know we cannot have negative exponents, we would rewrite that as a fraction because we know negative exponents are always less than 1. That would be 1 over w what? W, oh man, I messed that up. 1 over w to the 2. There we go. Okay? All right, let's look at number 5. I'll try to zoom in a little more. All right, look at number 5. Okay, we've got the product rule here. We've got 2 expressions that are being multiplied by each other. Okay, so what are we going to do with the 4 and the 5? We're going to multiply those. So we're going to have 20. Okay, c to the 8th plus c to the negative 5th. That's going to leave me c to the what? C to the 3rd. Okay, then d to the negative 3rd plus d to the negative 1. That's going to leave me d to the what? Negative 4. Okay? All right. So we did the product rule there. Okay? Combined our exponents. Now we simply have to look at what values are raised to a negative exponent. Okay? Which of these values is only raised to the negative exponent? D. Just the d. So that's how we're going to represent. We're going to write that as a fraction where it's represented as less than 1. So that's going to be 20 c to the, oh man, I do that every time. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so 20 c to the 3rd over d to the 4th. Are we good there? All right. All right, looking at number 6. Let's go to number 6. All right, we got cx to the negative 8th times negative 3x to the negative 3rd. Okay? Let's simplify using the product rule. So we know 6 times the negative 3 is negative 18. Okay? We've got x to the negative 8th plus x to the negative 3rd. which is going to be negative 11. All right. Now, it is still negative because we're combining those two. We're not multiplying them. We're just adding them. Product rule says we add our exponents. Power rule says we do what? Multiply our exponents. And we will look at some where we multiply them in just a minute. Okay? All right. Now, back to number 6, guys. What is the only thing being raised to a negative exponent? Just the x. Okay? So we would rewrite this as negative 18 over x to the 11. Okay? All right. All right. Number 7, guys. We're still working with the product rule, what we have. Okay? So it looks like it does. It looks like there's a lot going on here, but it's not as difficult as what it looks like. Okay? So we just take our a's, looking at just our a's. So we have a negative 5 plus that 7. That's going to be what? A to the 2nd. Okay? Not very difficult. B to the 8th plus b to the negative 3. That's going to be b to what? B to the 5th. Okay? And then c to the negative 12 plus c to the 7th is going to be to the negative 5th. All right? So we simplified it, product rule right there again. I told you it looks like there's a lot going on, but there's really not. Okay? But now we've just got to figure out how we're going to rewrite or simplify this expression without negative exponents. Okay? So what's the only thing being raised to the negative exponent? C. So we're going to have a squared b to the 5th. And all of that is going to be over c to the what? 5th. Okay. All right. Everybody good there? All right. Let's go to number 8. Okay. Number 8, guys, we've got the power rule in play. What is raised to the negative 2? The 8 and the p to the 5th. So really everything in there. Okay? So now, as I go to write this, guys, I'm going to do this just as 2 separate things. So we're really going to have 8 raised to the power of a negative 2. And then I'm just going to kind of space that out. And we're going to have p, fix that. And we're going to have p to the 5th. And I'm going to put that in parentheses because it's supposed to be, because everything in there is being raised to that exponent. Okay? All right. I just hit the space bar. Just so you can see that I was splitting those into 2 pieces, because the 8 is being raised to the negative 2 and the p to the 5th is being raised to the negative 2 because it's everything inside parentheses. Okay? All right. So now if you guys are looking at that, I'm simply just going to come below it and rewrite it again. So if we simplify 8 to the negative 2, that's going to be 1 over 8, what? To the 2nd. And then we're also going to have p to the negative what? Power rule tells us to do what with my exponents?
Negative 3.
Negative 10. Multiply. Okay? All right. So good. Now, we still got some more simplifying to do. We know that p to the negative 10 is going to be rewritten as a what? Fraction. Okay? But let's go ahead and let's start working at 1/8 squared. Can we square that 8 even though it's on the bottom of the fraction? Yeah. So that's simply just going to be 1 over, what's 8 squared? 64. And we're just going to add what we've already got to the bottom here, because we know p to the negative 10th is going to go on the bottom of my fraction because it's less than 1. So that's going to be p to the what? 10. All right, looking at 9. Okay, we got 5y squared parentheses raised to the negative 3. So everything in that parentheses is being what? Raised to the negative 3. Okay, so we're going to have 5 raised to the negative 3. And then we're also going to have parentheses y. Let's just go ahead and simplify that. which is going to be y to the what? Negative 6. I think that's going to be the simplest there. Okay? All right, so now as we're solving for these, both of these values have negative exponents. So both of them are going to go where? Bottom of the fraction. Okay? All right, so here, what is 5 raised to the negative 3 going to be? 1 over what? 125. Good? And then that y to the 6th is just going to be y to the what? 6th. Okay, we'll move it to the bottom on the fraction because it's going to go on bottom. And then it's a positive exponent from there. Okay? What we did was, I don't want to really say we skipped a step, but we went ahead and did 1, 5 raised to the power of 3. Okay? So then we just did 5 times 5 was 25, and then 25 times 3, or not 3, 25 times 5 was 125. Okay? Yeah. All right. Let's look at number 10. Everything inside of there is raised to a negative exponent. Okay? So we have 3 raised to the negative 4. We have r raised to the negative 4. And then we also have s is going to be raised to what? To the what? Positive 12. And this is one where we have to be careful because power rule tells me to multiply my exponents. And we know a negative 3 times another negative, which is 4, is going to give me that positive 12. Okay? All right. Now, simplifying this, what two values are going to go on the bottom of my fraction?
3 and r.
The 3 and the r. Okay, so let's go ahead. I feel like we can. Let's go ahead and reduce the 3 to the 4th power using exponents. 3 times 3 is?
9.
Times 3 is? 27. 27 times 3 is? 81. So we're going to have s. It stayed on top because it's a positive exponent. Excuse me. S to the 12th. And then all of that's going to be over. We said 81. And we're moving the r to the 4th. All right, so we're going to skip to number 12. And we're going to do one where we've got a quotient rule. Okay? All right, so here, it's no different than what we've been doing. We have h squared divided by h to the 5th. Okay? So h squared, h to the 5th, that's going to reduce or simplify to h to the negative what? 3. Okay? All right, but because of what we already know about negative exponents, we can simplify or reduce this again. So this is going to reduce or simplify one more time to 1 over h to the negative what? 3. Are we good there? Okay. Oh, it shouldn't be negative 3. It should be positive 3. My bad. When we move it to the bottom, all we're doing is changing the negative to a positive because it becomes less than 1.